We are back with another Eden Zero manga chapter review. 2 chapters left until we reach chapter 200. I did not mention this in any of the previous reviews, but now it really feels like we're inching closer and closer to perhaps the true middle of Eden Zero post time skip. Now, here's something that I have to say. This was another good chapter. I did call a certain thing that's happening at the very beginning of this chapter, but all in all, I have to say, well, this reaffirms just how much I love Sister overall. This is Sister's chapter, and I have to say, I love her even more. We will get to the point where I gush over Sister, as I tend to do whenever she's on screen. Call me a simp, I don't care. Just agree with me, because we all know it to be true. Anyway, before we get into the actual chapter review, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really does help. As well as commenting down below, regardless on your thoughts of the chapter, your thoughts on the video, what do you think should happen next, etc, etc. Any and all interaction will help with the YouTube algorithm, as well as show me to keep giving you guys more Eden Zero content as we move forward. The previous 2 Eden Zero chapter reviews have done a lot better than the first 2 that I brought out during my initial 6-month hiatus from covering the series. So I'm very happy to see those are starting to pick up in views. I have an important message at the end of the video, so stick around for that. But anyway, let's hit that intro and get straight into the chapter. Chapter 198 of Eden Zero, titled Nightmare. A really nice cover image of Shiki. Anyway, the chapter begins with Clown walking into the hangar, seeing Hermit in pain just with how much Killer's virus has been infecting her and has just been trying to corrode and destroy her from the inside. And we see just how much pain Hermit is in, meaning that she doesn't have any real way out of this situation, which honestly has me fear for Hermit right now in this very instance. But yeah, Clown just strolls on past her, places his hand on the door to Ethereon, and gives the command code unlock. As he states out loud with the usual villain monologue, "Master Ziggy, Ethereon is yours at last," as a voice off screen, surprising him, says, "Don't you dare." As we see Sister walking in like a badass, cracked up from that beast, taking a big old bite out of her, and I have to say, this is one of Sister's most badass panels ever. I love it. And this isn't the only time we'll see Sister looking like a badass in this chapter. Anyway, Hermit calls out to Sister, and Sister does what she does, and uses her heal automatizer to heal up Hermit from Killer's own virus. Again, I called this, and it just feels too perfect with Hermit being inflicted with a deadly virus, and Sister coming in to save her. It's obvious storytelling, it's obvious setup and payoff, and the thing is, I'm not mad about it because we all expected Sister to come in and save Hermit at some point. And with the reveal of the previous chapter, with Homura actually defeating Brigand, it puts more things into perspective with us not entering the darkest timeline just yet. But anyway, Clown asks the important question, "What happened? I thought you were like Beast Chow right now." Sister states that was one hell of a bite as we flash back to that giant beast thing literally taking a bite out of her. As she repeats what Clown said after he left, stating, "It's all over," shocking the beast, as she says, "You deaf or something? I said it's all over." Wait, maybe saying hold it would have worked better. Whatever, I'm done with this. As the beast tries to reaffirm its grip on Sister, trying to chop down more, but we then see it being agonized in pain, as Sister uses her honestly pretty scary ability, Overheal Destroy, which we all know is when she heals the opponent or anyone to an exceeding amount where the body can't keep up and they explode. In this case, completely destroying this dog. As she just says, "Psh, you got no discipline, dog," with a really big and disturbing smile on her face. So this is something that I completely forgot Sister can do, due to the fact that we've only seen this done once, and that was during Bellio Goer when she fought one of Dragon Joe's Element 4. I completely forgot that this was something Sister could do, and I am so happy this was brought in such a, honestly, really really cool moment for Sister, and it makes sense for dealing with this type of beast without having to rely on brute force, which again is one of Sister's specialties, but it is a nice real way of doing this, especially since she is primarily a doctor and a healer. Anyway, Clown says, "You killed it. You're the life of Edens, and yet you killed a poor animal." Sister retorts, stating that it was just a weapon made out of ether, which confirms my thoughts from the previous chapters, stating that that was a creature created by Clown's ether ability or something like that, or if it was an illusion, or a solid hologram. So, this does confirm that was a being created from, like, ether. However, she does says that if it was a real dog, she would have trained it nice and hard. The phrasing of that sentence is honestly kind of scary. Clown says, "I suppose I must teach you what death really is then. I'm called the Death of Edens after all," as he then engulfs Sister in this black ether that once engulfed Rebecca. Hermit calls out to her as they're wondering what's going on. Hermit says that it is an ether boundary, but then corrects herself, stating it's actually a virus. Sister tries to use status abnormality release, the spell driver, but it's no use, as apparently, since they are the successors and are superior to the Shining Stars, it won't work. And it does not, as Sister then gets pulled into this dark dimension, seemingly into this dark ether, with Hermit screaming and yelling out for her. Sister is then chained up in this void, as she immediately states, "I am not into this getting tied up as Clown appears as a disembodied head, stating that Rebecca was once here. Sadly, she escaped, but don't get the wrong idea. She only slipped away through the cracks once Killer was defeated. So it makes sense, because where she was being kept was in Killer's subspace dimension, but with Killer gone, Wise managed to rearrange everything, which made her able to escape. Hell, even does a fourth wall break in a meta commentary saying that it was the whole Shiki saving you in the last minute thing. Though, I have to say, I'm not going to show this image of, you know, Sister thinking what happened with Rebecca in this dimension, because it would get me demonetized, most likely, I believe. So, that's obviously not going to be in a thumbnail either. Which, okay, this is something that Sister would think of. Like I said, this is Sister's chapter, and this is something that Sister would literally think about, oh my god. And she states that this is turning her on, which, I've said this like 10 times already. This is Sister's chapter. This is literally what a chapter focusing on Sister would most likely be about. Anyway, Clown says, well, Rebecca wasn't in here for too long, so her nightmare didn't begin. But he states it's about time we started your nightmare. And he has all the time in the world, as his face then turns into a, well, blob monster thing, which I can only say is a child-friendly version of the creatures that we see in Berserk. I don't know why I'm thinking of Berserk here, but that's what came to mind when I saw this creature. Berserk fans, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. But anyway, this then begins to wrap around Sister's arms and legs as she screams out in pain, and this thing then goes into her mouth. Okay, I seriously think that this is gonna get me demonetized. Mashima, I love your manga, but some of the things that you give in these chapters literally make me wish that I wasn't covering this manga, due to the sheer fact that I might get like a guideline strike or something like that. Once again, I cannot show any images of this one instance, especially once it comes onto the next page. Anyway, going past the demonetizable panels, which thankfully is not very much, Sister says, stop it, as then these creatures then burst out of the lower half of her body, leaving her hanging, similarly to what happened to Hermit in the Digitalis arc flashback where she was disassembled. Sister is in noticeable pain. Clown states, don't die yet, the real nightmare has just begun, where Sister then starts to laugh, stating that this isn't really happening. This is a nightmare. Just it was all a dream shtick. And she says, way to spoil the ending at the start. You're so predictable. Sure, even if the average person knew it was a dream, they'd still get trauma level mental damage. And she reiterates, she's a doctor, and she even has a legitimate mental counselor's license that she got online. Yeah, that sounds like something Sister would do. Anyway, she says, you lost as soon as you dragged me into a mindscape. Now it's your turn to get dumb. Oh, come on, man! Oh my god. This is a serious moment and I can't help but laugh just because of Sister's dialogue. Seriously. Okay. She instigates her direct link dive, activates it, and then dispels the entire illusion that had Clown in a nightmare form. He's put up onto a giant X. Sister then changes her outfit into a dominatrix outfit. I want to say this would get me demonetized. It probably would, but at the same time, I do want to show this image. Do I risk it? Editor, it's your choice. I honestly don't care either way because I feel like this is a fun thing to show. And is the most tame image most likely out of the rest of these images that we just saw. But anyway, Clown is now in immense fear as we see a montage of him getting whipped, thrown around, put into a cartwheel, and just straight up terrorized by Sister, with him asking to stop. With Sister now saying, "No way, jackass, I sentence you to being my toy for life." Oh my god. Yeah, this is a Sister chapter, alright. Don't worry, this is still like a 10 out of 10 chapter for me. Which, if this doesn't say things about me that I didn't know about myself, please send help. Oh, who am I kidding? Anyone who's a fan of Eden Zero would want to be in a situation where... I can't keep a straight face. Okay. All jokes aside, Sister manages to get one over in the Mindscape, then uses an attack Mental Break, allowing her to break out of this illusion back in the state that she was previously, with Hermit being happy and relieved that she's now out of this whole instance. And she states that, honor as the life of Eden's, your life is the only thing I'll save. As Clown is now pants in utter fear and confusion, ending the chapter. And the next chapter is titled Saint Fire Nah. Wait a second. Okay, so, first of all, again, I still think this was a 10 out of 10 chapter. Really good for Sister, and again, Sister moments, I'm all for it. Whether I like being under Sister's heel is still up for debate. It might actually be true. I don't know. But let's be honest, any Eden Zero fan would agree with me. And this was nice. She didn't even beat Clown this chapter. Looks like we're going to go into the next chapter where she will most likely defeat Clown, or we'll get teased with the end of the fight and then move on to something else. Overall, this does kind of go around showing us just how much of a badass Sister is, how dirty her mind is, which, if we've been reading the same manga for the past 190 chapters, this should not be news. And just how useful she is in the crew. Now, Clown seems to be set up to be a joke character. Now, I have to be honest, I was expecting more of a back and forth with the Dark Stars. But I'm going to make the Dark Stars a whole other video depending on how Clown is initially defeated, as he's still standing and uninjured. Sister is injured, but is ready to keep going. But now, for the last 2 to 3 minutes of this video, because this is already long enough for a chapter review. This is just like my last week's 4 Nights chapter review for some reason, because there is a lot. The next chapter is called Saint Fire Knocks. We already have 2 out of the final 4. No. 2 out of the final 3 Oration Seis Galactica that were teased during the time skip, right before the time skip. And lo and behold, 2 of them are in this one singular arc post time skip. And I'm like, okay, that's really cool. Maybe Saint Fire Knox will get an arc in and of herself, or perhaps after this arc, Crow and Aknoella will end up leaving the planet, abandoning Ziggy or something like that, and they'll have their own arcs. But no, it seems like with this chapter we might get the big reveal, which the title spoils, that Saint Fire Knox, the last member of the Oration Seis Galactica, is on Lendard. Meaning that if things go out the way they are, all the Oration Seis Galactica could potentially be defeated in this one singular arc, with only Shiki and potentially Elsie, if she does not die, because there are death flags for her and stuff like that, which I do want her to stay around, but if she dies, who cares? I'm kidding. I would care if Elsie dies, because I do see her being a very valuable member of Shiki's allies and stuff like that. But that still goes to say, one of the biggest antagonistic groups, even though they are separated, are being dismantled and defeated in quick succession. Now, this could be the instance that Majima does not want this series to go on for as long as Fairy Tail, and he even stated so, that it is essentially going to be shorter than Fairy Tail but longer than his first real work, Rave Master. So it looks like we're getting into that sweet spot of like 300 to 400 chapters. Around 400 chapters, I'd have to say. But if Nox is going to be in this arc, and potentially defeated, I feel like we might be rushing into things. Now, my theory is a tinfoil hat type theory, where maybe Saint Fire Nox is actually secretly Sister. Now, hear me out on this. Maybe Sister, in her travels, somehow, some way, created Saint Fire Nox. Now, perhaps her whole identity as a great healer or something like that managed to get twisted or spread throughout the cosmos. Maybe someone with similar abilities took that opportunity and crafted their own identity, and thus creating Saint Fire Nox. Or maybe Sister somehow ended up getting called Saint Fire Nox, realizing all the unwanted attention and even potentially being dubbed a member of the Galactic Government's hit list, or someone that could give trouble to the Union Army or whatever. So she's like, you know what, I'm out of here. And then someone else claimed the title and became a member of the Galactica. Let's be honest, Sister causing some kind of big uproar, being given a title while no one knows her face, and is like, you know what, I'm just gonna lie low for a bit, and then someone else takes that title. It does seem like something pretty funny to happen, and maybe it is an alter ego of Sister that she just hasn't taken upon due to the fact that it's just way too much trouble. But again, I could just be grasping at straws and wearing a tinfoil hat for this whole thing. Either way, next chapter we're going to get the reveal of Saint Fire Nox, meaning all of the Irrational States Galactica are in one place. And now that I think about it, all of the Irrational States Interstellar are in the same place. So, if things happen in a particular way, most of the all the major powers of the cosmos are on one singular planet. Oh boy, that's actually a pretty big deal. I keep forgetting that the entire Interstellar are fighting here in this massive war, but I only really think of Justice and Holy of the Interstellar, along with the Galactica that are on this planet, minus Nox. I thought Nox was going to get their own arc, but it seems like we're going to deal with all this in a singular arc, or maybe we'll do some time travel caliper shenanigans and would completely make all this irrelevant and spread it out into multiple arcs. Either way, this chapter was really good. I liked it. It had me balls to the wall laughing, had me questioning my own personal tastes, and may or may not get this whole video demonetized. Either way, I'm happy with this review. I'm happy with this chapter. Leave your thoughts and opinions down below with your thoughts and opinions down below. Theories for what can happen next. What about Nox? Are all the major players of the universe just going to be straight up destroyed, or whole power dynamics and balance be shifted in this one singular arc? Thoughts and opinions down below. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for updates on future videos. It really does help, as it shows that you guys want me to keep doing Eden Zero content. Now, really quick, as I end off this video, I am going to be going to Greece from the 12th of July to the 17th of August, the latest. I might come back earlier. It all depends on IRL stuff and stuff like that. Which means I will not have any Eden Zero chapter reviews for that 4 to 5 week period of time. I am getting videos planned out to try and release at least one a week in advance for those particular weeks that I'm away, so I don't lose any momentum and so you guys can still get content. Whether any of that will be Eden Zero related is beyond me. I do have plans for one type of Eden Zero video during that whole break, but for now, we might get chapter 199, which will be right before I leave, so you guys might get one last chapter review by the time I leave. But again, everything is still kind of up in the air. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have an awesome day.